"Cowboy, don't look, my dress is gone," the Apache woman whispered from behind the waterfall, and the way her voice trembled made my hand freeze on the revolver like the mountains themselves had sucked the breath from my chest. Water thundered down the rock face, swallowing the canyon in white noise, but I could hear something else beneath it, footsteps, careful and hunting, circling closer through the pines. I'd followed the sound of the falls to wash the dust and blood from my face after the ambush on the ridge, never expecting a secret like this to be waiting in the spray, never expecting a warning that felt more dangerous than any gunshot. I turned my back at once, staring into the trees, heart hammering. She had come out of nowhere, slipping through the mist like a spirit, eyes sharp with fear and fury both. She told me her name was Nalin, that the river had stolen her clothes when she tried to cross during the storm, and that men with rifles had been tracking her since sunrise. Before I could ask why, a branch snapped uphill, deliberate, too heavy for deer. The men who burned villages and called it progress had learned this canyon well. They were close enough now that even the waterfall couldn't hide their breath. Nalin pressed a stone knife into my palm, cold as the water. "If they see me," she whispered, "they will not let me live." I nodded without looking back, understanding more than she said. I had seen the smoke of her people's camp 2 days before, had smelled death riding on the wind. The canyon narrowed behind the falls into a black seam in the rock, a place you'd miss if you didn't know to look. I told her to move when I fired, to run upstream and never stop. She shook her head once. "They will follow the sound," she said. "They always do." The first shot cracked like lightning, echoing hard and wild. I aimed high, letting them think I was alone and desperate. Voices shouted, boots scraped rock. Bullets punched the water curtain, sending shards of spray stinging my skin. I reloaded slow, forcing calm, while Nalin vanished into the dark seam behind the falls. A man rushed the pool, grinning like the hunt was already over, and I dropped him before his foot hit the slick stone. That's when I heard her scream, not fear but warning. Something moved behind me faster than thought. A hand clamped over my mouth, wrenching me backward, the smell of wet wool and gun oil filling my nose. I bit down hard, tasted blood and twisted, firing blind. The grip loosened. The body slid away into the raw. I stumbled, nearly falling into the pool, and that was when the waterfall split open again, and Nalin emerged. Not running, but standing tall, the knife gone, her eyes burning. She spoke in her language, a sound that cut through the chaos like a blade, and the canyon answered her. The ground seemed to breathe. Rocks shifted. Shadows moved where no shadows should. The remaining men hesitated, fear crawling over their faces as if they finally understood they were trespassers in a place that remembered everything. One turned to flee and vanished into the brush with a scream that ended too quickly. Another fired wildly and hit nothing but stone. Then there were only echoes and the endless falling water, and the silence that follows when death decides it has taken enough. I stood there shaking, revolver empty, wondering if I had imagined half of it. Nalin leaned against the rock, exhausted, the mist clinging to her like a second skin, modesty forgotten in the urgency of survival rather than shame. She laughed once, a short sound, and it broke the spell. "You did not look," she said softly. "That matters." I found my voice. Then and told her I had nothing left to give but my coat, and a promise to guide her past the ridge before nightfall. She accepted both without ceremony. We left the waterfall as the sun slid low, painting the canyon red as if it too remembered blood. As we walked, she told me the falls were a doorway, not a hiding place, and that some secrets only stay alive if they're spoken at the right moment. I didn't ask about the way the rocks moved or the shadows answered. Some things aren't meant to be chased. Behind us, the water kept falling, erasing tracks, swallowing sound, guarding the whisper that had changed everything.